more importantly, a war of attrition. Spurs and Thunder meeting Game 4. San Antonio looking to even the series at 2 games apiece.
Chased down by Fox 3T, Wemby for 3. Keeping the dribble alive. Got Wemby out of the paint, back to the basket. Vassell said no. Spurs the other way with Vassell to Wemby. Timeout, OKC. Wembanyama, I think he's going to go. From midcourt. Got it! He ends his best half of the series. 22 points. Pressure on the attack. Spinning for 2. Timeout, OKC. In these 4 games, look out, coming. Took it away. With Wembanyama. Athletic guards making it so tough to get a clean look. And Vassell reads it, takes it away. The lob, Castle. Another timeout for the Thunder. The Spurs are alive tonight.
103-82. The Spurs win Game 4, the fewest points they've allowed in the regular season or postseason in the last 5 years. And Section 114 is confirmed lit, as the Spurs are right back in this series. They tie this thing up 2-2, headed back to Oklahoma City for Game 5 coming up in a couple of days. Welcome to Spurs Postgame Wrap, everybody. My name is Jacob Toby. Got the Jackals and a bunch of our Spurs familia here in Section 114. They're getting you pumped up and ready to go. They are excited about their team. Look at this right now. Look at this. What a way to bounce back. What a way to bounce back if you're the Spurs. The name of the game tonight, all about defense. Only 82 points allowed. Again, the least allowed combined regular season and postseason the last 5 years. Guys were flying around. Guys were everywhere. I was listening to Dan Weiss on the radio today, and he said the word of the night is activity. And I completely agree. I mean, deflections, blocks, 11 steals, 10 blocks. OKC shoots 33% from the field. They hit just 6 threes, 6 of 33, 18%. The Spurs led by as many as 25 points. As you take a look at the final stats, the shooting percentage is ugly, especially for Oklahoma City. Not necessarily great for the Spurs as well, but that means their defense was spectacular. 50 points in the paint as well to 36. And then we know when the Spurs get out on the fast break and run, they usually are on the right side of the game and get the job done. So imagine, this series would be totally different if Oklahoma City came in here and went down 3-1 and having some technical difficulties here. Let's go to Mitch Johnson. He's at the podium right now.
Mitch, how satisfying is it to get that kind of defensive effort, and what was the key there, especially out on the perimeter?
I think it was the combination of the physicality and resistance along with the discipline and connectivity to still be together in team defense, not just trying to take one guy out or worried about what you were doing with your own matchup.
Coach, what did you get defensively tonight from Steph and Victor in terms of being able to guard Shea a little bit more straight up, and how did that help you limit their perimeter shooting?
I thought the guys did a great job again of just being connected where you're in team defense, and there are times, depending on the situation and the spacing and the circumstances, where you have to continue to move as the play unfolds and develops. And I thought we did a good job of being in, showing the crowd, but then also making appropriate reads and movements off that. And those guys did a heck of a job, obviously, with their dynamic ability on that end to lead that, I guess you could say, just in terms of the resistance and the physicality and trying to make them take tough shots without fouling.
Coach, I think this team was top 10 in deflections during the regular season, but how important is it for you guys to just have active hands everywhere, especially knowing how good this Thunder team is?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. I think, again, anytime we can turn defense into offense, that's turnovers, that's rebounding, that's, whatever the aspect may be, that's when we're at our best. We can get out and run and play in space and momentum and share the ball. And we did that tonight, and the activity was great. And we're going to continue to need to get better at it as this series moves on.
Coach, your thoughts on the pace that you guys had offensively, and within that, the not being so much in a hurry that you talked about after Game 3, kind of letting things settle in and letting things happen naturally as well.
Yeah, it's a conflicting idea at times, but it's the balance that you got to try to strive for in terms of pace and tempo. Doesn't necessarily mean you need to take a quick shot or be in a rush, but when we get to play fast in terms of the ball moving from one end to the other end, then we get our best chance of playing against unorganized defenses and take advantage of mismatches, and our guys' individual talent gets to be at its best with that.
Coach, can you talk about the two-way impact of Devin Vassell tonight and his growth from a role where he was more of a scorer before Victor Wembanyama, Stephen Castle, and the guys came around, to today, like a more complete role in the team?
He's been phenomenal. He may be our most consistent player if you took away any stats and just watched us play. Just his floor and ceiling may be the least margin. And it's just been, personally for me, really fun to observe him, because when we first drafted him, he was kind of a, not to be lazy, but a 3-and-D generalization is kind of the bucket he was in. And he's developed into a heck of a scorer in this league, and at times when you're a young player, it's hard to increase your offensive load and still continue to put that same energy into the defense. And I think he probably went away from it a little bit, and now to see him have the two-way impact that you speak of is very impactful for our team and very rewarding for somebody that's been with him since his rookie year.
Mitch, on your right, when Victor was sitting there after last game, he said that we're going to find out what we're made of in Game 4. And then tonight, he just showed a level of persistence he hadn't quite shown before, and he took so many shots, obviously, in the first half, but he never stopped coming and never stopped trying to kind of grind the game away. Just what did you see out of him with the motor that he played with tonight?
Yeah, I saw a lot, and I'm not surprised. I think our competitive response all year has been pretty good, and he's been at the forefront of that more than not. And I think tonight he felt, not speaking for him, but from my perspective, an obligation to set a tone for us in a variety of ways. And I think, to your point of just the aggressiveness, was a reflection of that.
You guys have so many people responsible for how your offense in particular runs, but is part of Victor becoming one of those great players to feel that obligation? It's his responsibility to set that tone?
I think a lot of people would say that, and regardless of that, I think that's what he wants. I think he wants that responsibility and to be in the lead there, and he's built for it.
Coach. Double from De'Aaron on a night, a double-double from De'Aaron on a night when he's still kind of grinding through that injury. How impressive is it to see him continue to just soldier on through that?
Yeah, he's been ridiculous all playoffs. I mean, it's the things that he's had to play through and what he's given us, and 10 rebounds from him, 11 assists from he and Steph combined with 1 turnover. Again, just numbers, but they do reflect some substantial production that we need from those guys and clean basketball.
Coach, I asked the guys before the game how did they prepare for this one, and they said they didn't change anything, that they didn't need to overreact after the loss in the third game. What does that say about them, the maturity they have, even though they are pretty young?
It says a lot. I think when you get into these series, we spoke pregame about the chess match, and you can get into a little bit of a whirlwind in terms of, do I adjust and counter, or do I just want to do it better? And both answers are right when you talk about them in a meeting room. And those guys have done a great job of executing a little bit of both. And I thought tonight was probably their best performance, maybe of the year, because of the circumstances of just being better at a lot of things.
Mitch, over to your right. I know as a team you guys have one common goal, you're one unit, but how have you seen the guys lean into the experience of Harrison Barnes as you continue to go further into this playoff round?
No, I'm glad you brought him up because we needed every minute of him, and I know this is probably the least amount of minutes he's played in a long time, and maybe ever as a pro. And he was 0 for 4 from the field tonight, but boy, did we feel his impact. We needed his minutes, and his performance was huge.
Thank you, folks. Oh, no.
103-82, the Spurs win Game 4, tied this series up at 2 games apiece. When the Spurs win, I knew we forgot something. When the Spurs win, that means you get Taco Palenque, free Taco Palenque. Celebrate big, celebrate together, celebrate safe San Antonio. As the official Spurs playoff win giveaway, every Spurs playoff win gets you a free breakfast taco. Tomorrow morning between 6 to 9, choose from a potato and egg or a bean and cheese taco. Available at Taco Palenque locations across San Antonio, Austin, Laredo, El Paso, Eagle Pass, Corpus Christi, and the Rio Grande Valley. Use code SPURSWIN in the Taco Palenque app or in store. Limit 1 per guest per day. No purchase or game ticket necessary. The Spurs hadn't trailed 2-1 in a playoff series since the first round in 2014. They trailed coming into this game, and we knew Victor Wembanyama would come up big early on in this game, and he was a big part of what the Spurs are doing in that first quarter. San Antonio outscoring Oklahoma City 28-19. They go on their second straight 15+0 run in the first quarter in back-to-back games. Victor was phenomenal in this one, setting the tone early. 33 points, 11 of 22 from the field in 31 minutes. That's the longest shot of his career, folks, from half court to end the first half. A buzzer beater for Victor Wembanyama. 8 rebounds, 5 assists, had the 3 blocks as well. And again, that first 40-foot make of Victor Wembanyama's career. He was 0 of 8 before that point, and he comes out and gives this fan base a lot to smile about. And guess what? He's at the podium right now. I bet he's pretty happy after his team ties this series up at 2 games apiece.
You right in front of you. OKC to 82 points, which is a pretty low number in any game, let alone the conference finals. What did you see that you guys did defensively that was able to lock them down that way?
I'm not going to get into details, but in general, being more disciplined and just trusting the game plan even more.
Vic, it feels like being active defensive in terms of the hands and over here. It feels like being more active in the passing lanes has been a theme for you guys all season. How important has that been to have all 5 guys being active in passing lanes, being aggressive on the ball, just for a culture?
That's super important, and pretty much everybody would do that if they could trust that the rotations are there behind. But we got good individual defenders, so when we connect individual and team defense, it holds team to low-scoring numbers.
Hey, Vic, when you guys sort of play with that hit-first mentality, what sort of tone does it set, and how does it kind of carry over the course of a 48-minute game?
I feel like we, as you know, with who we are, we need to start games like this. But it really doesn't mean anything for the way it holds. I mean, it helps for sure, but it's a whole nother type of effort to be consistent rather than just hitting first.
Vic, to your right, those of us who have watched you kind of mess around shooting half-court shots after shoot-arounds and practices, it doesn't seem like you make a whole lot of those when you're messing around. What did you think leading into that one, going into halftime?
I was just thinking shoot to score. I wasn't messing around at halftime.
He said he's really enjoying the adjustments. And I was curious for you in your first playoffs, how much have you enjoyed the game-to-game adjustments as a chess player yourself? How would you compare it?
there's definitely similarities, as in any strategy game. It's fun. It's very fun. In the playoffs, at some point, especially when a series drags on, everybody knows the other team like almost by heart. So it's different. I would say the coaches hold a lot of this load of the chess match. You know, the coaching staff, all the strategy. It's a lot. They do a lot of film. They work really hard.
Vic on the right, you said when you were sitting there the other day, we're going to find out what we're made of in this game. So one, did you wonder what the answer to that would be, and what did you find out tonight?
I didn't really wonder, no, because we didn't do nothing unexpected. But the truth is that we had never been in this kind of situation before. It was our first deficit in a playoff series. And we just responded, but it was nothing amazing. It wasn't magic. We just did what we needed to do, and the series is far from over. We got 6 more wins before we can rest.
In the quarter, Vic, in the first quarter, Devin had that block of McCain. Comes down court and feeds you for a lob dunk. Does that kind of sum up how good he's been on both ends in this series and in the whole playoffs?
It's hard to sum it up with just one play because his impact has been all over the floor on all kinds of areas and off the floor as a leader. So summing up his impact with just this play would not be fair to him.
Vic, after the last game, you said you needed to do a better job of essentially helping your teammates, and everyone around the team kind of says that you're hard on yourself. I'm wondering where that comes from, and then how do you manage the last 48 hours in your first playoff run and not letting that get to you?
I don't know if I'm hard on myself. We all have high standards, you know. And I know I have a lot of responsibilities, but I'm here for it. And yeah, it was better today. It wasn't perfect. But, you know, all of us, I'm talking like the whole organizations, we're going to have to do things that we didn't sign up for, you know. I think I'm an employee to play basketball, but I'm not an employee to talk to whoever and find out answers to. We're all going to do things like that, and that's why, as I was saying, I need to find ways to impact the game in many areas.
Victor Wembanyama, after a Game 4 win, his team gives up just 82 points in the victory. Jacob Toby, Dan Weiss from Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI. Dan, Victor, just the second player ever with 300-plus points, 150 rebounds, 50 blocks in his first career postseason since blocks were recorded in '74. Bill Walton did it in '77 and won the Finals MVP that year. So when you hear those numbers, I mean, anything's possible for this guy, right?
Well, I mean, I think we all kind of expected Victor to have a response performance tonight. I think we expected the entire team to have a response performance. Believe it or not, I actually thought the tone was set on the first play of the game. You know, Victor misses that three. De'Aaron Fox, smallest guy on the floor, gets the offensive rebound. And to me, that kind of just signaled what kind of night it was going to be for the Spurs. They were going to win all the hustle points. They were going to win all the 50-50 battles. They were going to win the battle of physicality on a night where they were allowed to use that physicality to match against Oklahoma City and throw them off their game. And they just wanted it more tonight than the Thunder. You know, they played with a desperation and a sense of urgency, much like the Thunder played with in game number 2. I thought the Spurs showed that throughout here tonight.
You mentioned De'Aaron Fox. He had 10 rebounds, which is a playoff career high for him. The Spurs win the rebounding advantage as well. Go back to that 40-footer from Victor Wembanyama to end the first half. I was listening to you on the radio. Yeah. You lost your mind for good reason.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was look at this shot. I mean, you know, he's just launching. It's the longest he's taken his career. It didn't even hit the rim. Yeah, I mean, you know, he gets the ball on the, 75 feet away with 4 seconds left. You're like, well, we got to push. But, I mean, it looked good when it left his hand, even from the angle that I'm looking at. And I think, what was important about that shot, Jacob, is, it sends the crowd into a frenzy. It ended a good first half. but it also, I thought, gave the Spurs the spark and the momentum boost that they needed to go into the locker room and then to carry that over into the second half as well.
Yeah, Victor was 0 of 8 on 40-footers in his career until that moment, so it's great to see him knock that down for the first time. I was listening to you as well, and you said the word of the night, activity on defense.
Yeah, it was activity. I mean, that's an old Coach Pop word. You know, Matt Bonner used to talk about it all the time. We got to show activity. And I mean deflections, loose balls. The Spurs just didn't let Oklahoma City breathe. And they did it without fouling, too. I mean, they only put the Thunder at the free throw line 18 times tonight. So if you can defend without fouling, I also talked about how I thought there was going to be some pretty significant regression to the mean for the Oklahoma City three-point shooting tonight after hitting 17 in game number 3. You know, Jalen Williams was 5 of 6 in game number 3. He was 1 of 7 tonight. Jared McCain, who hit 24 points the other night, he only had 4 points tonight, 1 of 10 from the field. So there was some pretty severe regression to the mean from that Oklahoma City bench unit.
Yeah, Steph Curry, Alex Caruso didn't even take a three in this game.
Didn't score in the game, and he came in averaging 20 points.
He's been the Thunder's arguably second best player in this series, and he doesn't even take a 3 in this game. What do you got? You have another special stat from tonight?
Which one are we talking about?
I don't know. I've heard you had something special for us.
Yes.
Oh,
you apparently are 3-0 singing the anthem. Look at that. Jacob Toby, everyone, is 3-0 singing the national anthem. So we need to see Jacob Toby sing the national anthem for game number 6. Toby in 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 6. There we go. 3-0.
So,
they're going to let you sing in Oklahoma City.
No, they're not going to let me do that. You challenged me last post-game show. Do it a cappella.
Yeah, I did.
So I said, for my man Dan Weiss, I'm not bringing the guitar.
Yeah, you did a great job.
A cappella.
Solid stuff there.
Hey,
yeah.
I appreciate that. So, hey, maybe who knows about Game 6, but Luke Cornet was great. I think this was Luke's best game as well in this series. I know the numbers haven't been great for him, but he had a bounce-back game tonight.
He did have a bounce-back game tonight. Might have been from some special guests that were in the building this evening. Let's hear from Luke after the game. It's the box score tonight. You hold a team to 33% shooting. You force 20 turnovers. All about the D, the big D here tonight on that end of the floor.
Yeah, I mean, I think our ability to just kind of impact the ball and be physical and put pressure on it, and everyone just kind of stepping up and making plays and playing free and aggressive.
Yeah, and that physicality you guys certainly matched tonight. It seemed like the physical nature of the game was being allowed a little bit more here tonight, and you guys took advantage of that.
Yeah, for sure. They like Steph and guys just did a great job impacting the ball and just trying to just kind of impede them as much as possible and just make it difficult, and everyone just trying to be on top of rotations so that there's kind of just not a lot of relenting on that end, and obviously it was a good defensive effort, and hopefully we continue that on.
What was the message from Mitch Johnson and the coaching staff after you guys watched the film from game number 3 the other night?
Yeah, I mean, I think we were just trying to really just try to be who we are and do that to the best of our ability. I feel like just like playing aggressive and being free, and I mean, especially once you've played a couple games in the series, there's not a lot of new information as much as you're just trying to do little things here and there. So I think on top of that, it's just, just kind of knowing what we're about, knowing who we've been all year, and just kind of staying true to that identity.
Yeah, and as far as that identity goes, on the offensive end, it was really about pushing the pace, and they have kind of bogged down the pace a little bit. Some of the fouls from the other games had gotten in the way, but tonight, it just seemed like as soon as you got the ball, it was about pushing the pace and getting back to that offensive identity as well tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we always try to play that way, and sometimes I think when you're thinking about how you're going to execute in certain ways, you can kind of lose that a little bit. And I think we did a great job of, especially with the turnovers, obviously that it helps enable it. But I'm just trying to play with that pace as much as possible, and just see like kind of every little nook and cranny that we can get to, and play with those advantages. And I mean, guys did a great job. A lot of times, like the ball handlers, you see it there, but just guys filling the corners and kind of running wide, and doing that as much as possible gives us a good chance to just be able to kind of do that. And honestly, offensively, I feel like we still have a lot of room that we can kind of grow, at least in terms of like percentages and stuff. It may not look, but I feel like that pressure just on both ends was important for us.
Yeah, and so now as the best-of-7 series shifts down back to Oklahoma City, and it's a best-of-3, I mean, are you enjoying this kind of chess match back and forth as each team makes adjustments from game to game?
Yeah, you know, I'm not one for chess, but fortunately we're playing basketball. So, you know, 2-2, yeah, it's kind of a 3-game series now, and obviously looking forward to Game 5. Heading to Oklahoma is a big one for us to get tonight, and yeah, man, hopefully we can just kind of stay true to who we are and be sharp on the details, but also just play with that energy and physicality and intensity.
Well, before I let you go, it did go viral here during the game tonight that before the game you were blessed by the Salesian sisters of St. John Bosco, who've become very popular here over the last few games, watching back in their monastery, in their church, and I know you are a devout Catholic. It seemed like they gave you the much-deserved blessing tonight before the game.
Yeah, it was great to see them. You know, Pentecost, big day to the church, and it was great to see them. Obviously, a big part of the San Antonio community, and yeah, shout out to all the religious out there praying for us and looking out for us. And it was obviously special to meet them, and we appreciate them coming by.
Obviously, they had the good word of the Lord tonight down on you, and that was good to see. Congrats on the win, Luke.
Yeah, I'll speak in tongues next time.
Devout Catholic, Luke Cornet. Great scene before the game. They were on the court and they did a little prayer for him before the game.
It was awesome. Yeah, it was good. And not only do you have to sing the national anthem, they have to come back for Game 6 as well, too, clearly.
Both of those things.
I'm assuming they're going to be back in the crowd as well. Yeah, that's been a fun story. Those are the Salesian sisters of St. John Bosco, San Antonio. That's the church that they're part of. And you've seen them on Instagram. They've been watching Spurs games, games 1 and 2 in Oklahoma City, games 3, and then obviously getting the invite to come out here to Game 4. So very cool story. And obviously it's a special moment for Luke Cornet as well, too.
Absolutely. The vibes were high here inside of the Frost Bank Center. The vibes are also crazy at the Rock at Lock and Terror for these watch parties, Dan. They've been getting